Welcome back to TC Talk Sports. If you haven't watched my Pelicans video that I just recently posted, I have some bad news. I won't be doing a preview for the rest of the teams that I have left to do. But I will be recapping and talking about their seasons so far this season. Most of the teams I have left to talk about are some of the worst teams in the league, so this should be fun. Should be interesting. We'll see how well these teams are doing or how bad these teams are doing. And I'm still going to give my player to watch and my full prediction for the teams and some players at the end of these videos, so keep watching all the way through. If you haven't been paying attention to the NBA too much this season, these last couple videos I'll be posting are for you. I'll get you caught up on what the league is looking like and how some of these teams are doing so far. My motto is all sports, all the time. I post something on here and TikTok every single day, so make sure you hit that subscribe button on this channel. There's a link in this bio, or you just go to TikTok, type in TC Talk Sports. It's real simple. Follow along with me daily. I post something every single day. That's a guarantee. If you're a sports fan, this channel is for you. Subscribe and follow. You won't regret it. In my last video, I talked about how the Pelican season is going so far. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Washington Wizards, who also happen to be one of the worst teams in the league. They have a bad record. Their stats are horrible, but I think they have some good, talented players on their team that could end up paying off for them in the future. As of today, the Wizards are 2-11. That's 14th in the East. There's 15 teams in each conference. Wizards are second to last in the East. Offensively, 109.9 points per game. That's 21st in the league. They're shooting 33.4% from three. That's almost last. It's 26th in the league. And when I start talking about some of the guys on this team and their stats, you'll see why that percent is so low. Defensively, this team sucks. They're giving up 124 points per game. That is dead last in the NBA. Teams are shooting 47.9% from the field against them. That's 25th in the league. And they are 27th, giving up 37.6% from beyond the arc. Coming into the season, I don't think my preview would have been too much different of what I'm going to talk about now. Offensively, I thought they might have been a little bit better. Figured they'd put up more points. Percentage-wise, I didn't think they would shoot a high percentage because they have some crazy guys that take a lot of bad shots in every single game. But, I figured they'd be one of the worst teams in the NBA. Obviously, that's still going to come true, currently sitting at 2-11. Wizards led by Jordan Poole. He leads the team, averaging 21 points per game. Surprisingly, I thought, and if I had to do a preview for this team, I would have said he would shoot 25% from three, to be honest. He took a lot of threes last year, shot 32.6%, had a down year shooting the ball. But this year, he's shooting 44.4% from beyond the arc, taking a similar amount of attempts as he did last year, but obviously making a lot more. He's become a more efficient, better scorer this year. I wouldn't say better, but more efficient scorer this year for the Wizards, something I didn't see happening. To go along with 21 points per game, he is averaging 4.6 assists. However, he is averaging 3.2 turnovers, which anybody could have predicted if they watched him on this team last year. But defensively, he's taken a step up, averaging 1.9 steals per game. That is fourth in the entire league, something I didn't see happening either. I thought he would just have a bad shooting year, turn the ball over a lot, and kind of give no effort on the defensive end. But he is scoring more efficiently, and he's fourth in steals. Kyle Kuzma, who I kind of forgot even played for the Wizards because he's not good either. He missed the beginning of the year. He's played 8 games total. So far, averaging 17 points per game and 6.8 rebounds. I'm going to say those numbers are going to increase. He'll probably come closer to scoring 20 points per game and maybe closer to 7.5 or 8 rebounds per game come the end of the year. But, he hasn't really done anything too crazy so far this season for the Wizards. And, he thinks he's really good for some reason, but he's really not. One of the more interesting players for this team this year has been Bilal Coulibaly. He's now in his second year. Currently, he's injured, but he's played 12 games this year, averaging 14.8 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. He's shooting 37% from three. Now, if you were saying at the beginning of this video, I said that you'll find out why this team is shooting so bad from beyond the arc, and the first two guys I mentioned are shooting over 37%, Poole over 40%. It's because these next couple guys are not shooting the rock very well. But before I get into that, a weird offseason acquisition, I think, for the Wizards. They got Jonas Valanciunas, who currently has been coming off the bench for the Wizards because their number 2 overall draft pick has started every game at the center position, but Valanciunas still putting up decent numbers. He's only averaging 20 minutes per game off the bench, but he's scoring 12.6 points per game and averages 7.8 rebounds. You know, with the Pelicans, with the Raptors, he was a big guy, get down low. He can score, rebound. I mean, a solid pickup for the Wizards, but I just think he deserves more minutes, especially if they want to try to win more games and not be the worst team in the NBA. Busy draft night for the Wizards, and honestly, I think they did really well with this draft. Their first pick, they had 2nd overall. They took Alex Sarr out of France. A lot of people hating on this pick. I mean, I don't think he's really that good. Maybe not have deserved the 2nd overall pick, but he hasn't been too bad so far for the Wizards. He has 13 starts, started every game this year, as I mentioned, only averaging 9.8 points, 5.5 rebounds. He is shooting 20% from 3. Now you might think, oh, he's only taken a couple threes. He's averaging 4.5 3-point attempts per game, shooting 20%. That is absolutely horrible. Coming into the NBA, people knew that he could shoot and score in the paint. We haven't really seen that too much from him, and only 5 rebounds per game, a little over 5 rebounds per game. That's not what you want to see out of your starting center, especially a guy that you took with the 2nd overall pick in the draft. But defensively, he's been really good. 2.1 blocks per game. That's 4th best in the league. Not even among rookies, 4th best in the entire NBA. So he's picking up block shots. His best game came November 15th versus the Hawks. 20 points. He made 3 out of 4 3-pointers, pulled in 7 rebounds, had 4 steals and 3 blocks. So I think he's capable of filling up a stat sheet every night. I just think it might take a couple years for him to develop and live up to that number 2 draft pick. I'm not going to say he's playing horrible so far. Shooting has been god-awful, but I think he can fix that going forward. Or if he goes away from that and works on his down-low game more, I think that might be beneficial to him. But as of right now, it's just a waiting game to see how good this number 2 pick is going to be. As of right now, maybe one of the most underrated picks in the draft this year came 14th overall. Wizards taking Bub Carrington out of Pitt. One of the youngest players in the draft. He's had a couple down games, but he's proven that he had a triple-double in college, and in the NBA so far, he's proven that he can end up being that type of guy right now. He's played every game, 12 starts, 10.4 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. He's shooting 38.9% from 3, and he's not really a big 3-point shooter at Pitt. Kind of in like the second half of the season, he started shooting better, and I think that was because of his shot selection. First half of the season, he was taking way too many shots, putting up crazy, highly contested shots that obviously weren't going in. He kind of found his shot towards the end of the season last year. He's carrying that into the NBA now. He's still able to score in the paint. Just watching him a couple times this year, I think he can develop into a really good NBA point guard. I mean, he has good size, a good wingspan. He's quick. He's athletic. I think the key for him is going to be that shot selection. Take good shots. But I think his best ability is passing. His vision on the court is insane, especially for how young he is. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. I'm a Pitt guy as well, so obviously a little biased there. But I think he has the opportunity to be really good. I think he got drafted to the right team as well because he's going to get a lot of opportunity, a lot of playing time with this team, and I think that's just exactly what he needs. Wizards, again, another kind of low-key underrated pick in the draft, 24th overall, taking Keyshawn George out of the University of Miami. A lot of people probably don't even know who this is or who this was on draft night. He doesn't look like he's 6'7", but he's 6'7", maybe 6'6", but he's a strong, athletic type of guard. He's played every game for the Wizards so far this season, averaging 27.8 minutes per game, 8.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, 3 assists, and this is where the 3-point percent goes down. He's shooting 27% from 3, and I don't really think he's a 3-point shooter. His strong suit is getting to the rim and distributing the ball to teammates, similar to Carrington, like offensive skill set wise, but we're going to see George, I think, take a lot of threes. I think he can develop into a good 3-point shooter, and just like Bub, this is the right team for him to be on. He's going to get a lot of opportunity, a lot of minutes. You see, he's already averaging 27.8 minutes per game. I think that's really good for him. His best game, this is a little wild, versus the Warriors on November 4th. 20 points. He shot 6 for 17 from three-point range. He took 17 three-pointers in that game, added 4 assists and 6 rebounds. I just think at his size, I think he's similar to Anthony Black, maybe a better shooter than Black is with the Magic, but rebounding-wise, passing ability, I think they're two similar players. Black now in his second year with Orlando, having a good season. He's a good defender, just like Keyshawn George. Like I said, this is just, I think the team sucks, but I think it's the right team to be on if you want to get opportunity and develop. Coming into this season, my player to watch was going to be Jared Butler, now in his 4th year out of Baylor. Hasn't really seen the floor too much this year just because his team is so deep in the guard position. Only averaging 8.2 minutes per game, but he is scoring 4.8 points per game and averaging 2.4 assists. So, I mean, those aren't terrible numbers for only playing 8 minutes a game. I'd like to see him get more minutes. He's one of the more experienced younger guys on this team, but, I mean, they got Jordan Poole, Coulibaly, Carrington, George. They're just deep. Corey Kispert, if you want to throw him in there. They also picked up Malcolm Brogdon in the offseason. So, I mean, Butler is just buried under 4 or 5 guards, and I don't think he'll get too much playing time this season, just judging off the way this year has gone so far. But if he goes to another team, gets opportunity, I think he'll end up being a good player. My prediction for the Washington Wizards, I think they're going to be the 6th seed in the East. Just kidding. I think they're going to have the worst record in the NBA. Not to be rude, but, I mean, they're just terrible. Pelicans are probably fighting for that spot as well. Portland Trailblazers right now, who I'll have a video coming out about them soon. Shooting-wise, offensively, this team is just terrible. Defensively, you can't really get any worse than them. I'll confidently say they'll finish last in the East, and I think they're going to have the worst record in the NBA.